Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to talk this week about branding, a little bit of an offshoot from identity, something I covered a couple weeks ago. So hopefully you're in the flow right now, you're watching these videos and reading our support articles that go along with that. I know those should be coming to your inbox, but we also have a lot of extra things on our website you might want to check out sometime at thedietdoc.com. But continuing on in this topic of branding, I really like this topic. I hope you can tell that. I started out majoring in business and marketing as a pretty young guy and switched over into physical medicine and then on into nutrition. And that little business experience I had going through college, focusing on that, and probably even because my dad was in business his whole life, it's something that just kind of sticks with you and it's a part of everything we do. And I think that's important because a lot of people who are technicians or specialists at a very particular subject matter don't always know how to run a business. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to who might work for a doctor or an accountant and say, man, they are really good at what they do, but they don't know anything about running a business. So that's why we focus so much on entrepreneurial training and all the different nuances in business with our program owners. We've helped more than 120 people around the world create DietDoc programs and fuse them into their current businesses or grow them from the ground up. And this is critical stuff. We know that the clinical nutrition and all of those skills will come. Some people bring in a lot of experience in education, some people very little. But that's why we've created all those resources and so forth to make sure that everybody can grow at their pace and build that successful business. So think of that in terms of what we're talking about today, which is branding. A lot of people ask us, what do you do? And we've had to make some tough decisions because if you say, well, we do this and we do this and we do this and we do this, we've kind of lost our ability to focus and become the expert or the specialist at one thing. So we've decided we have to, come up with something that's really succinct, definitive, and make sure people can understand that. So we say we are a business or we are a licensing company and we specialize in health and nutrition curriculum, life transformation. So what that means is our job is to make sure that we're helping fitness entrepreneurs grow and develop the best businesses possible. So think back a little bit to identity. When I talked about focusing and really creating that branding message, I want to come back to the three things that we use internally in our company, which is science, support, and sustainability. That makes a great bumper sticker or rack card or business card, that kind of thing, a slogan on the website. But what else do we have that backs up that claim and that really shows a crispness or a sharp cutting edge that separates us from the rest of the industry? And I would say you have to look at just about every level where people are going to interface with your company. So I first think of resources. Outside of us, where are people going to see us outside of us personally? So they're going to go to our website, they might look at a business card or rack card, brochure, like I mentioned. So we got to make sure that everything's consistent, everything's really on par. It's got the messaging that we want, and it's not just that it looks good, although that's important. Professionalism is huge. It really has to be consistent and simple. So one of the things I would say that you should really consider when you're creating all this material and these concepts for yourself is be as simple as possible, as focused as possible. That's really important. Then outside of your resources, and these are things, again, I wish we could go through a whole lot more in a 5 to 10 minute video, but that's what our full day corporate training is for and some of the other resources that we go through weekly with our owners. But one of the things that I would say that is really important is deciding what exact kind of business model you're going to have. This is critical to your branding message because you do have a lot of options. You could have a brick and mortar building. You could have this great big training studio where you've got some fitness classes going on. You could be just more of a very clinical model, meaning nutrition. People come into kind of an office setting and do just that. You might co-op with some other people, so you might have your business inside of a family gym, inside of a chiropractor's office or a medical doctor's office. You got a lot of options. We have some owners who do things more virtually. they're online and so forth. So when you decide what kind of model you're going to have, you got to make sure it's better than any other option in the industry, and be prepared to market and even defend why you do it that way. So one of the things I've always been big on too is making sure that we're putting our best foot forward in how people receive that brand message. So you always want to look your best and be consistent with that message. It's really shocking sometimes for people to see one facade, maybe in an advertisement or on a website, and then they come see that person and it's way, way, way different. There are a lot of stories I like to tell, but one, when I first started in business, this was a big lesson for me. I was a physical therapist, and already, because I was, a competitive bodybuilder, and I was already working on my graduate stuff in nutrition and all that. Like many of you, I'm sure you go to a gym or you're just walking around and people say, "Well, he's a fit person. He looks great. What what do you do?" Then we get those questions all the time. I wanna lose weight. Can you help me? And so I started basically the first iteration of this business in my basement a long time ago, 20 some years ago. And even though I was a physical therapist working full time, I thought, well, there's kind of a need here. I might be able to fill that need and make a few extra bucks. And I loved it. I loved helping people. So I had just a little simple 3-bedroom ranch house, first house we ever had in a subdivision. And we had a basement, and I took half of that basement and made it my gym. So I had a nice home gym, but it was, kind of a grubby basement, half finished, half not. The part that was finished had this orange shag carpet, and so I just made some shelves and kind of walled off one corner, and that was my office where I thought I would see people. So I had my first actual client who, after I had business cards made and so forth, she was gonna come over to my office, and we were gonna go through her nutrition program. Well, it wasn't until a few days later that she called me and said, I don't think I want to come back and do training and stuff, because it's pretty weird. I mean, I don't know you, and I'm going into your house and down in your basement, and it just dawned on me what kind of a weird, creepy factor that is. And that's clearly not a great business model or brand identity. She saw me in a tie at work as a physical therapist, lab coat on, doing all this stuff in a great hospital and outpatient setting, and then she comes to some dude's house and creeping down basement stairs. I couldn't think of anything more ridiculous once it dawned on me what she was experiencing. But what I thought I was conveying, which were the resources, the curriculum, all the great things I could do, just my own intellect and education helping her, that was not at all what she was seeing. And so that's why identity and branding is so important, that we have all of those factors put together. So create the best scripting and brand message. Make sure you've got your resources just buttoned up tight and you look as great as you can. But then also in your own systems, that has to be a big part of your branding. How are you going to carry this business forth? So work on some of those things, and we're going to keep throwing this great information at you week after week for this entire 8-week series. So thanks, and I'll see you again in a couple weeks.